Well, hello, everyone. Woo! Let's see if I can get my comments rolling. Give me a sec. It always seems to be a challenge. All right. There I am. Okay. I've started using my laptop instead of my like devices like a iPad or a phone or whatever to read my comments. It seems to work better. We'll see. Anyway, Friday morning at 10. Woohoo! I have so much planned this weekend. It's crazy, but I thought, let's make this card. It won't take too long. I'll spend a little time with you. I am going to be using this Peaceful Days, I think it's called Peaceful Days, paper pack. I've shown it to you several times now. Now I'm looking for the name of it because I can never remember for sure. Peaceful Days, there we go. Anyway, and so what I like about this is the pack has such a nice variety of blues and like grays and whites. It's just a soft palette of colors that you can never go wrong with blue and white. Oh, speaking of that, okay, I have some announcements really quick. So Stampin' Up! Announced their big Black Friday sale from the 25th through December 1st, and it will be 40% off of alcohol markers, the blends, the trimmers and blades, and ink bundles, 25% off select adhesives. We don't know what select adhesives will be, but I like all the adhesives except for the green glue, so I'm good. I will take my opportunity to stock up there. And then 15% off select card stocks. And of course, I love all of the Stampin' Up! Card stocks, so that's a good deal for me. And I already told you about the Cyber Monday paper pumpkin sale that goes from, like, I think it's can't remember which day it starts, like the Monday, I think it's the 1st through the 9th. And then in December also starts the Product of the Month special. Look at my writing. You guys probably can't even read that. But my upline showed us a sneak peek of blue and white. It's a blue and white paper pack. So they have a whole team of people who are particularly working on the Product of the Month. If you spend $75, you're going to get that product at a discount for like $5 or $7 or whatever. And so I think it was $5. Anyway, it's a great opportunity to get something highly discounted if you're going to place an order anyway. And there's so many sales coming up. I'm like, hang in there. Look at the different sales. I'm going to post them on Facebook and let you know so that you can plan your purchases around which way saves you the most money. Yeah, baby. So I told you every Christmas I always really love to make a secular card, something a little more religious. Hi, Christy. And these, I love these. Okay, so in my stamp room, I have a few areas that I hoard things. So when I'm shopping, if I see a great deal for anything nativity, I buy it. So I have a large selection of nativity stuff. I just really am drawn to it. I love it. And so this one is called Shepherd's Care. It's last year's set but it's still available. There's another one with Mary and Joseph and the baby this year that's a lot of people are using. It's very beautiful, but I like this one more, and so I'm just going for it. And I wanted to use this one this year, so let me just pull that out while I've got it. There's only a couple of stamps I'm going to use here. And so I'll get out. I'm going to use my Misty for this one, but you could use anything. You know what I mean? Anyway, that one's ready. Now, this branching out set, I needed a front for my card. Something, it can be anything. It could have been the arches. It could be a circle. It could be any shape. But I decided to use these shapes as my shape because I've been getting a lot of use out of this branching out set and I can't seem to stop using it. I really like this shape for some reason. It's calling my name. The other thing I wanted was, I like the Peace on Earth that is in this set right here, but I'm not as crazy about these messages, and so I thought, okay, I just want a really sweet, soft message for the inside. I really like this one. May the spirit of the season bring you hope, happiness, and love. And that is in the Jolly Holly set. I'm not as crazy about the font, but you know what? I went ahead and pre-stamped that on a circle. And I really like how it looks. It fits perfect with the way this project is going to go. So I'm like, okay, in case you're wondering where I got it, that's it. Okay, now the other thing I'm going to do, break some rules. I pulled out some of my favorite retired Stampin' Up! Sets. Now, I want you to know that these are not available for purchase on their website anymore, but I find this whole set, I find them at Daisy Lane secondhand pretty frequently. So I know they're out there and I know people use them and then, you know, sell them after they change it up, because, you know, like I said, there's a new set like this every year. Hi, Noelle. So, what's everybody got planned this weekend? I'm going to Gordyville, y'all. Gordyville is awesome. I love going, and I'm fine. This week has been rough on me. I've been sick all week, and today I finally feel like myself again. So I have a lot of stuff to do, and I need to see my dad now that I'm not contagious anymore. So, all right. Anyway, this set is called Stars at Night. This is an embossing folder with stars on it. It's really beautiful, and it's like a 3D, so it really imprints the stars. And I made a whole bunch of different stars, as you can see, using the silver foil paper. And these are a little thin. I think doubling that up with cardstock or something would be a good idea for this card. The other two sets I just want to show you, this is Stars at Night, and this is Star of Light. And the reason I bought them secondhand, I like the messages on them, but the dies were really fun, all these different stars. And I keep finding these, and I bought them twice. Christy, are you the one who got these from me? They're probably in the other room. I was afraid to touch everybody's stuff while I was contagious. I didn't want to package everything up while I was so sick. I had norovirus, which is not good. I'm better now though. And so I will get stuff packed up and mailed to you, but this is a great set. Okay, so the card that we're going to make, I got out my template. This is my gatefold card by J. McGuire. It's got a hidden pop-up, and I don't know it's a gatefold pop-up card. And this, I know I've shown you this before. This is not the first time that I've shown you this card, but this is an amazing card she made. I'll tell you what, this was part of I think a Pink Fresh event. But when you open your gatefold, it has a pop up. Do you see that? How it pops right there? And it's kind of a cool one to set on a table or something. And then it's got this inner part that opens where you can write your message. And I'll tell you, this is beautiful. And the reason I put this one in my envelope as my sample is because I kind of messed it up in a few places. Like, I messed up the front. It's not very clean. I made my belly band too tight so it doesn't go on well. And I smudged my message. I don't know if you can see the smudges on it. And I was like, okay, so this card is not perfect. So it's a perfect one to put inside my envelope as my sample, because this is the kind of card that you need to see finished in order to know how amazing it can be. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the thoughts. And I tell you what, it's been a long time since I've really been sick. I mean, I've had, my surgery stuff that happened and stuff. I haven't actually felt ill for a few years. So this, at least, it wasn't COVID. I don't have to hide out for a while. I know I'm done. So anyway, oh, good. Christy is the one who got that set for me. I tell you what, that was awesome. I accidentally bought it twice, and so I gave away a bunch of stuff in my Facebook group. Okay. Yeah. I just, every time I see anything secular, I'm just drawn to it. All right. So here is my template. And this is, if you purchase from me, this is like what you'd get this month. You get this template. So your card base is 5.5 by 8.5, and you score it at 2 1/8, 3.5, 5, and 6 3/8. So what I do on my templates is I cut it the size. The dashed lines are scores. Valley, mountain, mountain, valley. So you know which way. You would fold this one as a valley, this one as a mountain, this one as a mountain. Get it? Dun, 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 dun. And then this little inner fold piece, you don't have to do. It's an optional piece. But what it does is, if you really decorate this card, it gives you an opportunity to have a space to write a message. And on the card I'm making today, I left space on this panel, so I don't have to make this part. And then it just folds like a gatefold, and you do a belly band around it. Okay, so let's get started with that. Well, I'll leave my template there for just a sec. Okay, first things first, we'll get our card base ready. So I have a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock, and I need my scoreboard. You could use it for the trimmer special. I'll tell you what, I am so accustomed to using my scoreboard that I keep using it, but I really like the scoring mechanism on the Stampin' Up trimmer, and knowing that the trimmers are going to be like 40% off, that makes me very happy. That's a great deal for a great trimmer. And to stock up on blades, please don't sell out. Please don't sell out. All right, so the first score, we're going to 2 1/8, and I think this is close enough for you to read 2 and an 1/8. And remember, there are 8 dashes between every inch. So you just go 1 dash past the 2. 3 and 1/2. That's right here. And then 5. That one's pretty simple. And then 6 and 3/8. So with 3/8, remember there are 8 dashes between 8 parts of an inch. So 1, 2, 3. So it's right before the 1/2 inch mark, and you make a score. All right, that's really all my scoring I have to do. So I'm going to put that away. Now, we know that this is a valley fold. I'm going to go ahead and just do the gatefold part first, because I like my gates to match up nicely and cleanly. And sometimes my score is just the way I cut my paper, or my score is not perfect. I like it right there. Yes, the cardstock is my draw too. I think, you know, anytime you can get a discount on cardstock, it's a good deal. And I love that their cardstock coordinates with their patterns and stuff. All right, so this middle 2 will pop up as mountains. These 2 will be mountains. So what I do is I just sort of fold it over and fold it over. So the idea is get everything moving really well, because you want this to, surprise the person. And if you don't have these really well scored, they don't pop up as well. And, you know, it's going to be a surprise. People are not going to expect to have that pop up in a gatefold, right? So that's cool. So there we go. Now, I cut my cardstock for the inner piece 3 by 8.5, which would fold and it would go right in here. But I actually don't need it for this particular card. Okay. So my next thing I want to do to prepare my bases is I want to decorate my front. And I did not put the measurements of this on the patterns, but there are a couple of things you can do. I have not had an opportunity yet to use as this dark Secret Sea paper cardstock, and I'm in love with it. And so I want to use it for the front of my card. You'll see that when you put the decoration on this card, it's really the inside that is so unique and special. And so the outside is a little plain Jane. It's just not as, the outside doesn't usually look as spectacular. Like when you can see, Jennifer had us, you know, stamp on the front softly. We put a little glitter here and there. And the main message, or one of the main messages, was right there. And then the show is wah, when you open the thing, right? So we want our show to be on the inside. But okay, gluing to glitter, not my favorite thing. Usually I recommend either tear and tape or foam tape works fabulously, but I don't want the dimension on this. It already has a lot of dimension. So I'm going to use my liquid glue, and while I make the rest of my card, I'm going to let this dry. So liquid glue works, but remember that glitter paper is bumpy. It takes a little more adhesive. It takes a little more time. And so, all right. And then the other thing, I like to put a weight on this if I can, because it really does pop up sometimes from the glitter. So I'm gonna put some weight on that. And now I'm gonna put my other scraps aside. I'm gonna work on the main decorations of my card, okay? So I have several of these cut, and I went ahead and cut some silver also. Look how beautiful that silver foil is. I feel like every time I want to show something, it either sells out before I show it, or it becomes not available, or everybody's showing it. I don't know why is that? That's so weird, don't you think? But I don't think a lot of people are showing this Shepherd's Care set this year because it's the older set. All right, so I like to set my Misty up so that assembly line, I made a lot of these, and so I like to set it up so that I can just stamp like crazy. And I'm gonna put this here. And I'm going to use, I don't want to color anything. And so I'm using my Secret C ink. The nice thing about a Misty versus a block is that I can stamp it, and then if it feels a little light, which that does, I can go through it again. And look how much better that looks the second time around, right? Wow. And then let me just clean that off a sec. And the other thing that I want to put on here is my little, in the background, there's like a little row of, you know, Bethlehem. And I kind of want to put it, I think I might just, I trimmed mine so that I would know the straight edge. And I kind of want it right here. So pick that up. I'm going to do it in the same color. Let's see. Rearrange that just a smidge. The nice thing, I like it with one stamping, even if it's a little lighter, because it is in the distance anyway. All right. So basically, that's my stamping. And I already stamped my message onto a circle. So I'm done stamping right now. And what I want to do now is it looks a little plain, right? It needs something. And so I think what I'd like to do is I'm going to use my Secret C, and I'm going to ink blend just a little around the outside. And I don't want it to be too dark, just enough to be a sky. And then I also want to ink blend a little bit of sand. So let me wipe the blue off, because now I'm going to switch. I was going to use crumb cake, but I'm instead using Close to My Heart shortbread. The color is softer, more sandy looking, if you will. And so I just don't, I don't think it matters that much, to be honest. I think I could have used either. All right. So there is my main image, and that's it. And I assembly lined a bunch of those. So I have like, you know, I I did one, did the next, I stamped all of them, and then I blended all the blue, and then I went and blended all the brown. So this is a great way to assembly line, right? It's great. And I'm going to put this on here. Oh, you know what else would be really nice? I want to do a star. I'm going to do a star in the corner. So I have this star. I'd like it to be upright. And then this is part of that same set. Secret C again. And I'm just going to put it in the corner. There we go. Okay, that's better. It needed a star. Okay, and now I just need to put some dimensionals on the back and pop this up just a little bit. I don't want a lot. I could use my my trick, you know, that I use for stacking my scraps. It's nice to, when you have a card that's, sorry about that, when you have a card that's a little bit bulky, it's kind of nice to not add too much more bulk to it. And that pop-up mechanism does add some bulk. And so think of that if you're mailing these. All right, and I'm just gonna put this on here, kind of centered. All right, there's my front image. Okay, ta-da. Now, let's go back to my card. Everything looks well adhered, right? Now we're gonna work on the inside of the card, and basically I cut some strips, and I think these strips, I think these were like 2-inch strips, 1 inch. These are like 1 1/4 inch apart or something. And so, you know, you can cut your strips any way you want. But my thought was, I mostly just want some color in here. I don't think I need like gobs of stamping, especially since I did sort of an assembly line. It would take me days if I made all of my cards super duper detailed. So this is a way of adding texture, adding extra, without it being like a super hard, time consuming thing. And just remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, because the star of the show will be your main image in here. And I like the idea of using the stars. Hi, Denise. What you got going on today? I got a Facebook memory this morning that popped up, and we were getting snow like crazy. I can't remember what year it was. You know how they pop up out of nowhere. Okay, so I was gonna use blue. I kind of like this softer blue. This is the Secret C blue, and I like having two sides of it. You can pick which one works best for what you're doing. I love the two-tone cardstock. I always have. But it's like having multiple colors, even though you don't own all the colors. You own different tones of each one that you buy. I like that. Okay. All right. So I basically just cut strips. They're like 5 1/4 by 2. I think this is 1 1/4, 1 1/4, 1 1/4. Let me see. Where's my lines? Yep, 1 1/4. I'm looking at my glass mat and measuring. And then these I just cut slightly smaller. You wouldn't have to do that. Now this is where, if you wanted to add that flippy thing, you would add it now. You would fold this, and you would have an additional thing to unfold. And that is what you would decorate. But I'm going to decorate the actual pop-up. I'm going to leave a little space. Maybe I'll just do it this way just so I can show you. No, I'm just going to keep going the way I go. All right. I got to find all my parts and pieces. Okay, so I have my stars, and I'm looking for my circle that I stamped. I really like this message right here. May the spirit of the season bring you joy. And I don't want very much, I only want it to adhere to this popped up area. I don't want it outside of that area. So it's important that I put it in a way that only that part is adhered. Do you see that? And you know, you could always put adhesive onto the popped up area. Now this would be on top of your flap if you were doing it the other way. Now I'm going to put a big star there, and I have some dud ones. I call them duds because they didn't turn out as nice. I was a little off here. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to stack it together with this one that looks nicer, because it'll give it a little bit of strength, and it's going to be floating. It's not going to be all just flat adhered. All right, I need a weight. Hold on a minute. Let me put a weight on that. I just want that to glue for a second. All right, now I'm just gonna keep adhering the rest of my stars down to decorate my card. I'm gonna put one here. I really do try not to get liquid glue on top of this foiled cardstock. Hidden Grinches. Well, that sounds interesting. I was gonna start putting up the tree. I thought it takes me a while. I've never put it up this early, but I feel ready. And then I was thinking, gosh, I really think I need to wait till after Thanksgiving, because I've got people coming over, you know. So I'm waiting. But over here at the craft house, I've put up my village tree, which is really fun. And it's not totally done yet, so I have that to do. And we were talking about putting the lights on the house today this weekend while it's still warm, because it's supposed to get so cold. All right, I have this extra tiny star. It's tiny. And I think I might put it right here. I think it's cool looking. And you can see that set was kind of made to go together, because look, it's like this perfect size for that. So yeah, that works. This is so pretty. This whole card is, I think the silver on it looks so good. Okay, so I want to put this star here. Now, I can't just lay it flat and glue it down. I have to glue it only to this white piece. So you could do all kinds of stuff. You could, mark it in different ways or whatever, but I'm just going to put my fingers where I don't want glue. I don't want any glue where I'm touching. And now I can put glue on the rest of it. And that. And I'm going to hold that down for just a sec. Now, the other thing I want to point out with this particular card is you want to be really careful. Whatever pops up, you don't go past where your gate is going to close. If you go past this score or this score with whatever is in here, it will bend, fold, whatever. Like I had one of these that I got a little too close to the score, and I had to trim it because it kept getting hitched up. The card wouldn't close well. So live and learn, live by my mistakes. Anyway, isn't that pretty? I think this is gorgeous. All right. And then on the front, so this will be the pop-up like that. I'm going to put a little thing down here where I'll write Merry Christmas or write my message, or I'll write here from Connie or whatever. I'll figure it out. This way I didn't need to make that extra pop-up. All right, so now we need a belly band. Now you can do a belly band any width you want. Like you could make it 3 inches wide, 2 inches wide. It doesn't matter. This one, Jennifer made 2 inches, 1 3/4. I don't know. It was a scrap. Okay. It doesn't matter how wide it is. Oh, that glitter looks so good on there. Oh, I need to do glitter. I'm not going to do glitter. I think I might use a color. Nope. Going with white. So I have this scrap. It's like a 1-inch scrap. It's just a scrap, you guys. And when you make a belly band for a card like this, you want people to know how to open it. It is a thing to have a card that you can't figure out how it works. So what I do is I hold it and wrap the belly band to the back, and then I hold it loose where it's not tight, like just a little bit looser, and wrap the other side. And then I go to the back and I line up the cardstock, and then I push on each side. And what that does is it makes my belly band crease, but crease where it's a little bit fat. And what happens when people get this card then is they know it's supposed to open because it's opening already. It's not so tight. Like this one, I made it so tight. This belly band hardly even fits on here. I have to struggle to get it on. I made it way too tight. What a shame, right? But it's beautiful, but they may not figure out how to open it. They know it opens, but you know, it's not an obvious thing. So I just, a card maker would get it. But if my grandma got it or something, I'm not sure, right? Okay. So then when I have that wrapped around, I take a pair of scissors and I just trim so that there's just a little overlap right there. And I am going to put a little glue on this edge and a little glue on this edge. And then when it closes, I know both edges will be down nicely. You don't have to do glue on the entire whole thing and take the risk of getting glue anywhere else. You just want this edge nice and sealed and that inner edge nice and sealed. And you want your belly band to be able to slide easily. I got like a little, I told you this was a scrap. I'm just going to trim that so it's a little straighter. It won't matter, but you can see like if that inner side isn't glued down very well, it'll catch on your card. So, I know I'm being a little picky, but this is how I make, I've had so many cards where the belly bands wouldn't slide, and you don't want it falling off, but you want it loose. Okay. All right. Now we're going to put the front on our card, and the front only attaches to the belly band. So I see how much is left on each side. On this image, not very much, okay? On this image, you know, easy. You just put, it's the same width. You would just put glue on the back of this message and stick it down. But on this one, it's only going to be a tiny strip. And rather than trying to line that up, I'm going to put glue on my belly band. And you don't want glue on your card, only on the band. And then I'm just going to take this piece and I'm going to line it up where I like it. And I'm going to push that down and hold that for a sec. And then this, just make sure this still slides up and down so that you know that you haven't glued it to your card. You don't want that. You don't want that main image glued to your card. It'll slide off. Won't that feel weird? To get a card that you slide the whole image off. It'll be, people will be like, what? I like this piece on earth on the front, and I played around with where I like the message, and I think I'm just going to put it at the bottom. And so it needs a little trimming. I just had a strip of that Secret C cardstock, and I thought I just glued a whole bunch of messages to it. I do an assembly line where I have a strip, and I just glue a strip to it and start trimming as I need them. But I like doing the little fishtail, flagtail kind of thing. And then I think I'm only going to glue it right here. Now remember, I have a little foam between here, so I'm really just going to glue here. And I'm just going to line that up where I like it. Pretty. Ta-da. And the last thing I want to do is I want to add some bling. And I have some rhinestone bling that I want to add around here. And maybe one over here. I think that's really pretty. I could add one to the star. That's really pretty too. But there's my card, you guys. What do you think? Now, if you don't believe me that I batch made these, I can't remember. Well, basically, if you buy from me, you'll get this template and you'll get this card. So there you go. That's how many I made. And some of them are better than others, I know. But this, to me, this is your, if you're going to keep it anyway, keep it in your template so that you have a sample. It really helps me when I pull out these things to see one finished, because come on, you're like, oh yeah, that one, it can look spectacular. It's just all in how you put it all together. So this is my more religious themed card this year. I made some for myself to send out and some for you. So I hope you love it and have a fabulous weekend. I promise I will work on trying to get stuff mailed to you guys. But boy, I feel like I lost a week. So I need to make sure my dad is doing okay and check in on everybody, because I'm normally at his house 2 or 3 days a week. So, okay. Bye, everyone.